This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. They knew me for the old me. They can't stop me now, I'm with the home team. No beginner, I'm a winner. Took a couple losses, now I'm cooking, let me simmer. Yeah, yeah, tunnel vision, all I see is win, 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 win. This my city section where you been. We move faster alone, but go further together. We can weather any weather forever. A dream team, I done seen things. Confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team, I had celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. You probably thought you knew. A new day is approaching, turn the gray skies into blue. I grew up on these same blocks, school of hard knocks. Had to get it on a hard top, took the hard shots, but we made it. Anticipated, highly decorated. The home team is winning, celebrated. The victory is all mine, and everything is alright, alright. And you know how to see things, confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team, I had celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for Wednesday. We are halfway through the week, December 10th, 2025. Want to shout everybody in the chat out. First of all, you guys see the poll that I put. In 2021, did you cheer for Matthew Stafford to win a Super Bowl with the Rams? We'll come back to that later. We got Daddy in the building. What up, bro? We got Fave, Wavy Kid, Anna in the building. Says, I really wanted Joe to win that, but they didn't have a defense. What up? What's up? Okay, all right. So first and foremost, man, we got a couple things. I know that Dan is on. We're bringing that press conference. I'm waiting on him to finish right now. We're going to have an hour show. I got to take my kid back to the doctor for his ingrown toenail follow-up. So we got to do that at 3:15. Man, oh, man. But listen, we're going to get in it today. So we got a couple topics, but we can have a audience show as well. You guys can post the topics or something like that, something you want me to talk about, and I'll go from there. I need at least 2 video segments from each live stream. All right. So Faith says ingrown toenails hurt. Yeah, man. And my son, what's up, Patty? My son has had one, okay, in each of his big toes on both sides of one toe. So we have been there 3 times for ingrown toenails in 6 months. And then you got to follow. I am totally expecting the other side of his toe, his current toe, to be ingrown. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. So I've been taking care of him the last week. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Anyway, Nate says, are you going to L.A.? To the no. Cordell says, Branch had already had surgery on his Achilles. That is great. Ingrown toenail sounds like an injury Marcus Davenport would have. That is funny, bro. I've never had one. I hear that they hurt, that they're not comfortable. Crazy that they still don't have a defense to this day. I had it when I was younger to take the toenail. No, what they do is they cut the side anyway. Yeah, they do some stuff. Braylon with the super chat. Donation says, to answer your question, I cheer for Stafford for one reason. I wanted this fan base to realize that Stafford wasn't the problem. You know what, Braylon? That's fair. That's fair. And, you know, all right, so we got to get into it, bro. We got to get into it. And I'm feeling some type of way. You guys know I feel some type of way super easy, man. It don't take a lot. It don't take a lot, bro. And it's not for me to tell anybody how to fan, but this Matthew Stafford thing, man, I cannot wait until it's over. I cannot wait till he retires. I cannot wait. I hope it's next year. Like, I'm ready for this to be over. I'm ready. You know who I think is tired of it? It's Jared Goff. And I'm confused. Fandom is weird, right? So we're going to save most of it for the segment. What's up, Rob? What's up? I've had two, but when getting treated, the numbing part is worse. Bro, my son said the same thing. He said the same thing, bro. This guy went and got it done on each toe and took it like a G, right? Like a champ. The next time we go, he is freaking out about this needle, and it was just on and on and on. We did it. It was done. I was like, anyway. So yeah, it's something. All right, so let's get into it, man. We got to get into it because I am getting pretty annoyed. Let me bring up my my Twitter account because I want to talk. Okay, all right. So let's talk about it. It says if Monday night are Hurts and Herbert still better than Goff. Okay, Stafford, you can tell it is over too. He was on Rich Eisen the other day. Nick, it's okay. This is not towards you, but it's been over. It's been over. That's why he left. Okay. Let's talk about it. All right. So I thought this would be over. I didn't think we would talk about this anymore. And we had a Stafford video that I made a couple days ago about the Rams and the Lions, and Rams fans was in the comment section. Yeah, you know what? I realize that fan bases talk. I'm sure Lions fans do the same thing on other people's comment section. But when you have some type of success, you get even more big-headed. We have to have a conversation about Matthew Stafford. I am so sick of this whole thing. I'm ready for it to be over. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to fan. That is your prerogative. Fan is short for fanatic. I don't think I'm a fan of anything. I'm not a fanatic about anything. But I do support the Detroit Lions. I support the Detroit Lions. I'm going to say it again. I support the Detroit Lions. And I'm going to say something here. And look, it's not who cares what I think, but this is just what I feel. If you cheered for Matthew Stafford to win a Super Bowl with the LA Rams, I don't know how you can actually call yourself a Lions fan. I don't. We had Braylon donate, said he cheered, but it was to teach the fan base a lesson. That's fair. Because it comes back to the fan base. I wouldn't have even done that. I don't know how you can call yourself a Lions fan. See, I think that there's different type of fandoms. You have the fandom because your family member from, I don't know, Timbuktu was a Lions fan. You were born into that. You've never been to Detroit. You've never seen Michigan. You've never been any of that stuff, right? The beauty about being a fan of a team is that we don't have to know each other and we feel like family, right? That's the beauty. So with that metaphor, with that scenario, I just don't understand how you could do it. Me being a Detroit native, having grown up in Detroit my entire life, it wasn't about Stafford. It wasn't about him. Okay, he chose to leave. He He requested to leave. Why would anybody support somebody that requests to leave, right? So we discussed that fandom fanatical, right? That's what fan means. We discussed how it's about family. It feels like family. To me, okay, you can call me emotional. You can do that's what we're supposed to be. I mean, who else pays overpriced tickets to sit in an uncomfortable stadium, to wear earplugs, to see grown men run each other like cars at 25 miles an hour, right? So, of course, it's emotional. But it's emotional because it's deeper than that game being played. When Stafford left, to me, Stafford is like an ex-wife. Now, I have one. I have an ex-wife. I don't know if you have an ex-wife, an ex-husband. I have an ex-wife. To me, Stafford is like an ex-wife, right? If your ex-spouse chose to leave, let me ask you a question. Is anybody going to, wow, you know what? I hope that she gets everything she wants when she goes here. I hope that he gets everything he wants when he goes there. Is anyone going to do that? You might do that, and if you do, that's fantastic. I'm not that guy, period. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go into detail about my situation, but I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. So I need to know what is this? Why do we still do this? Why do we still do this? I got a post I want to bring in. This junk is so irritating, bro. Because to me, here's another reason why I can't deal with the whole Stafford love, okay? You have to choose. You have to choose. For all the ridicule and all the critiquing I do of Brad Holmes, I'm not going anywhere. I told you Brad will leave before me. If you are a fan of the team, you don't get to pick and choose. You are either a fan of the Detroit Lions or you're a fan of Matthew Stafford. It's one or the other. That's it. That's how I feel. Okay? You don't have to feel this way. That's how I feel. Okay? Let me show you something. You can't have both. You can't have both. Now you can enjoy another player, but if you follow that player to a new team and you went and bought a Detroit Rams shirt, you should be ashamed of yourself. One of the things that makes you a fan is the pain and suffering. That's the thing that makes you a fan. And it makes it feel so much better when you win. Max Crosby I clown him, I laugh at him. Why? Because I wouldn't mind if he was on my team. But I will admit that Max is terrible as it is. The loyalty there is crazy. Myles Garrett, he wanted to get out of a situation. The Cleveland Browns suck. They sucked. We have not been as bad as they have been since Matthew Stafford was drafted. Like really, on a consistent basis. I'm over this whole thing. Listen to this is what, and I'm gonna tell you why. All right, so this is what I posted yesterday. And I don't know what I have, a particular set of skills. Here's what I said on Twitter yesterday. I cannot wait until Stafford retires. I usually don't tell people how to fan, but if you cheered for him during his run, how can you legit call yourself a real Lions fan? Stafford didn't play here for free. He got paid nicely. At one point, he was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Why does that matter? Why does that matter, right? You never heard Stafford take a pay cut to get this team better. Stafford ain't no Brady now. You never heard Stafford say, I will take less to bring me the team that I want. I even heard Kyler Murray was trying to give input on players that they should bring. They told him kick rocks, and now he gone. Kyler Murray ain't gonna be a Ram. He's not gonna be a Cardinal next year. All right. So all this stuff and all this love that we give Stafford, he never once ever took a back seat to make this team better. But he just, oh my God, it was the Lions, right? It was all Lions. That's crazy. Not to mention the interceptions, the hospital balls, all of that stuff. Calvin down there somewhere, right? It's crazy. Let me finish. At one point, he was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. We act like he didn't have anything with the Detroit Lions. Back in 2014, when we got played by the Dallas Cowboys and the refs and the NFL, that's probably the best team that he had. All right. I'll tell you what, Super Bowl or not, I'm gonna ride with Jared Goff until the wheels fall off. You know why? Because I'm as loyal as they come. They got these bros ain't loyal. These fans ain't loyal, bro. How can you call yourself a Lions fan and you rooted for a guy that left your team willingly and won it's ridiculous. All right, but here's the best part. All right. The love you have for this man is beyond me. I got a legit question, and this is what I want the chat to answer. Everybody who screamed and cheered for him during his run, what exactly did that do for you? Okay. Braylon said it did. It showed he wanted the fan base to see that it wasn't all Stafford. Okay, I get it. That's a legit point. What did it do for you as a Lions fan? What did he thank you during his Super Bowl speech? He did not. The closest you got was, this is legit what he said. They asked him, how does it feel to have Detroit, the city of Detroit, still behind you on this Super Bowl run? You know what he said? He said, it feels good. Blah, blah, blah. They don't have to do that. Because he was telling you, I don't care about you anymore. I don't care about you anymore. Okay? You don't have to follow me because I'm not there anymore. They don't have to do that. That's what he said. And you were expecting him to say, I want to thank the city of Detroit, as he watched that lady fall off the stage and run the other way. You wanted to, you was waiting on it. You was sitting by the TV, weren't you? When they were doing the forget them picks and all that, and Stafford got up there and he thanked everybody. Did he thank the city of Detroit? Did he thank the fans of Detroit for rooting for him when he was with another team? Because no, it doesn't happen. It's stupid is what it is. All right, check this out. Do you have any merchandise that says Detroit Lions Super Bowl champions? No. Here's the part, though. The dude quit you, but you can't quit him. The comment section of this video is disgusting. I've never seen anything like this. And this is what I'm talking about. Stafford, this was on the Rich Eisen show. I took a screenshot of the thumbnail. Stafford on playing his former team. And oh my God, the comment section was just ridiculous. It was just, oh my God, Stafford is the greatest. All Lions fans. It was pathetic, bro. But yet, the man who plays for your team, right? The man, you refuse to support him. You know what I saw in my comment section yesterday? I'm not even from a Detroit Lions fan. You know what they said? Which I think is just despicable. Sometimes I hate this fan base. Hate it. You know what they said? We're just a Matthew Stafford away from a Super Bowl. Unbelievable. I can't believe this. I don't understand. We will dump on Jared Goff in a second. You will give Bradley, Matthias, Jerome, Melvin, Cornelius Holmes the benefit of every doubt. But yet, when you had him, Matthew Stafford, that is, you didn't really appreciate him. I know this. I know this because I'm an actual Lions fan. I don't know what you are, but I'm a Lions fan. And it's just ridiculous to me. So now, if he came here, he's the key. Have you seen our passing defense? Have you seen it? I got a video dropping tonight. How it slid again. It's bottom 15. I'm going to give you a hint. Have you seen our passing defense? That was the problem in Detroit, right? You didn't have enough around him. You know what? No, I'm not going to do this. Now, again, I'm not here to tell you how to fan. That's just my opinion. Whatever you want to do is fine. If you still got your Ram shirt, I hope you wear it this year. Wear it this year. Whether it's too little or not, cut some holes in it, make it bigger. If you got this thing was a disgrace. It was a disgrace. I hated every second of it. I actually rooted for him to lose the Super Bowl because as I bring it back to my city where I live, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, man, but I think if you from the city, if you lived in the city of Detroit, you understood what this was going to do. All off season, all we heard was Stafford. You had never seen Stafford be in the news, had you? You ain't never seen him be on too many covers. He was on ESPN. He was on every show. It was all of a sudden, he went from a nobody to a superhero. He was the same quarterback as he was in Detroit. Why does it bother me so much? Because it was a bad look from my city is why. That's why. Stafford got no love in Detroit ever. This MVP conversation, it was over as quick as it started in 2016. All of a sudden, the minute he gets traded, he is the biggest thing since sliced bread. Nobody was saying that when he was in Detroit. Why? Because he was in Detroit. That's why. He went to a team that was built to win. Instead of, I can't respect that. You know who I can't respect? Barry Sanders. I can respect Calvin Johnson. Even though Calvin wanted to leave, he didn't. He didn't have a choice. He didn't. Matthew Stafford was still under contract. Let's be very clear. The man signed another contract to stay here, right? He signed in 2016. That was the last year we went to the playoffs, was 2016. That was when he was the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. You ain't see it coming, bro? So I'm not doing this. I cannot wait till this man retires, but I want you to go and I want you to look at the comment section. Type in ESPN Matthew Stafford. The magazine is dead, but you will see this. It'll look like this. This is what the ESPN magazine used to look like. The same everything. That's what they're doing here. Go watch this. And it's just like, yo, I'm over it. I'm over it. But Jared Goff, I will ride with this man until he is no longer a Detroit Lion. I'm all about, it's not about the man. It's about the player, right? So if Jared Goff went to another team, I would be like, yo, I wish him well. I wish him well. I'm not going to be like, I wish him success. I'm not going to do that, bro. He don't play for my team anymore. How quickly Ben Johnson last year had on a Lions. He wore a Lions logo. Let me catch you in a Bears outfit. Let me catch you. Go ahead, put on a Bears outfit. Go ahead, put on by the cap, by the hat, by all of it. Paint your whole room bare orange. Start all that, bro. These guys get to leave. We don't. So I would not do it. I would not do it, bro. I cannot do this. So if you want to do it, to me, it's pathetic. It really is, man. One of the things that make us Lions fans is the pain and suffering that we continue to go through because we are a fan of the team. We are loyal to the team. This is ridiculous. Let me know what you think. We got a poll. We got 64 votes. In 2021, did you cheer for Matthew Stafford to win a Super Bowl with the Rams? 41% say yes, and 59% say no. Well, if you were one of the people that cheered for him, put in the comment section, what did it do for you? What did it do for you? All these years later, nothing. The only thing that you got from this was what? Oh, it just proved the forge that, it wasn't Stafford. Okay, fine. We all knew that. If you watch football, you knew it wasn't all Matthew Stafford. Do you have a Super Bowl trophy, or are you looking stupid over in the corner somewhere as your team continues to fail year after year? This right here is just ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this, ever. Stafford was underappreciated while I was here. That is a fact. But why follow him to another team and root for him to win something your team has never done when he left you on purpose? He wasn't thrown in the trash like Jared Goff. That's a whole different thing, bro. But to each their own, you do what you feel is the right thing to do. Me, ride or die, bro. Ride or die. All the criticism I get, ride or die, bro. It is Detroit Lions for life. That's the one thing we cannot say about Matthew Stafford. This junk is crazy, bro. You see, I get riled up with this. I rooted. I went and rooted for him to lose the Super Bowl because the offseason was crazy. Oh, it was the Lions. It was never Matthew Stafford. No, duh. Everybody played a part in it, just like it wasn't Stafford that won him that Super Bowl. Can we all talk about this? Y'all remember, what's the dude's? I cannot say this guy's name to save my life. His last name is Tart, but his first name catches me up. Remember when they were going on that run? They had to go through the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. After they won the Super Bowl, they had to go through the San Francisco 49ers, and they had to go through the Cardinals. The Cardinals was whacked that year. Remember the dude who dropped the interception? Remember that would have sealed that game for the 49ers. Dropped it. Remember the blown coverage on Cooper Kupp that we all saw? And oh my God, when I saw the compilation, it was like a compilation of Stafford in that Dallas game in 20 whatever. And the same thing that he did to win the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs. It was a compilation. And I'm just like, what is it? We're so pathetic as Lions fans that we're going to root for our ex. What the heck? What are we doing, bro? That's crazy. You sitting miserable, lonely somewhere, eating bonbons in front of the TV, and you cheering on Stafford. That's ridiculous, bro. Did you go to the ex's wedding? Did you go? Did you buy her a wedding present? Did you buy her a gift? I mean, what is happening, bro? I don't understand this. I just don't understand it. I think you better let it go. Looks like a Super Bowl TKO. We beat them like a rug, 52-21. Repeat. Yes, I cannot say that, Superintendent. I cannot say it. It was not because of him they lost. Blood in, blood out. Remember, because my dad was tripping out seeing his name, such an interesting name. I cannot wait for this to be over. I just cannot wait every time. Even now, it's like Jared Goff is the little brother in this situation. He the little brother. At least he got to the look. You know what's crazy to me? What's crazy is when it comes to Jared, and I'm not comparing them as quarterbacks. All right, they're two different. Matthew Stafford, he to me has the better arm. Okay, he has all of that stuff. Matthew Stafford was the first overall pick. Jared was the first overall pick. Not all quarterbacks are created equal. They're not. Matthew Stafford throws a beautiful ball, all of that stuff. We've seen all of that. I do think that Jared Goff is a more accurate, continuous passer. I think he's not as risky. If you are where you say you're going to be, okay, Matthew Stafford, he is not that quarterback. But he is, to me, if I had to say who's the better quarterback, I would have to give it to Stafford for a number of reasons. But that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate what I have in Jared Goff, okay? Matthew Stafford at 37 still does his thing. He really does. It's sitting there like, dang. But that first year, bro, I used to have a soundbite. And I used to do streams where I would clown this guy. Like, I wanted him. I was actively rooting against him. Because once he won, that was something we couldn't get over. It was something, he was always going to have this connection to the city of, you know what? I'm going to spit on you. That's what it is. This, to me, this whole thing is disrespectful. It really is. But like I said, I can support Max Crosby being a loser his entire career because he's a loyal loser. You know what I'm saying? And if he sucked and wasn't a good player, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. Like, I would be like, okay, we'll come to Detroit because I know how Raiders fans would feel, just like Rams fan. They threw Jared Goff. I mean, they had a graphic last year saying golf with his head. Had the dude's head chopped off on a, like, yo, that's crazy. And the worst we did was allegedly boo some kids. We didn't boo no kids. I didn't boo no kids. I was there. I didn't boo no kids. I booed him, and I will boo him forever. I'm telling you, bro. As a matter of fact, if he ever tries to retire, which I pray that he does not try to retire a Lion, I will sell my ticket. I will sell my ticket for that. I will not be in attendance. Or I will go to the bathroom. I will hold in. You know what I do? I take a bunch of laxatives, a bunch of them, bro, and be ready. Hold it in, stomach grumbling and everything. Soon as I'm going to the bathroom. That's where I'm at. Point blank, man. Let me see. Trey, I'm sorry, bro. Look, this is how I am. We don't get to pick and choose, bro. We don't get to pick and choose. Let me see. This team sucks, so I don't want to go there. You know what? I want to leave now. I don't want to leave. Jared Goff, that's why I support Jared Goff. That's why I support him. Look, I am that dude, bro. I'm like the Lord of the Rings or something, bro. We on the horses and we are in this thing. It could be me and you against 100 people, bro, and we going down, but we going. That's where I'm at. Now, if your name is Max Crosby or Myles Garrett and you want to get traded, yeah, look, you can come here. That's what that fan base to deal with. But that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. The Rams fans supposed to love it. They turned on Jared Goff in a heartbeat. And that's why I brought up yesterday about, the stuff that we were hearing from Jared about what could have led to the split of Sean McVay. Like, come on, man. Anyway, I just seen on FF1 Stafford and Goff had the same stats about after the trade. I feel the same way with Ben Johnson. That's another thing, too. I don't get it. I don't understand how people cannot see anything wrong with it. Is it personal? No. But this is not, okay. And so here's the thing. When it comes to being a fan, there is a certain level of personal in it. Think about this. How many of y'all have ever lived in Detroit? How many of y'all root for the Detroit Lions because it's your team of region? How many of y'all? Not a lot, right? You've got me, born and raised. Did I miss a super chat? Born and raised in Detroit. I think I missed one. Braylon with the super chat says, my reason, Stafford wasn't the problem. We had a crappy regime back then, terrible management and terrible coaching, zero culture. You know what? I get that, B. I get that. And you know what? As much, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. And it was, hey, teach him a lesson, right? It was, if Stafford go win this thing, look what y'all did. And all of that's true. So I get it. Another super chat from Anna. Anna with the $4.99 says, Stafford nor Ben Johnson entered into a covenant with the Detroit Lions. Sometimes people want better. New England was happy to see Tom Brady. Yeah. Sometime, but here's the thing, though, Anna. He did enter into a covenant when he signed his contract. In 2016, he could have said deuces. It had been 7 years. He could have pulled a Chris Brown, said, I told you that I'm leaving, I'm out. But he didn't do that, did he? He signed and became the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League at the time. That was a choice he made. He didn't have to sign that contract. He was a free agent. He didn't have to sign a contract or an extension or whatever it was. I don't even know if he was a free agent. We probably locked him up. But he chose to sign it. Just like Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett chose to sign. He did all that talk, blah, 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 hoopity hoo-ha, lotto, I don't fit you. And then he decides, hey, you know what? If you can't leave him, pay me. So I hear you. But he did. He signed his name saying, I am under contract with the Detroit Lions for this many years. He made a choice, and that choice was to sign that contract. Just like people sign marriage license, right? You sign a marriage. That's what makes you married, is that written document. Otherwise, we just kicking it. That's my partner. We kicking it. No shade to those people. But that's what it is. And just like when you split with a marriage, you got to legally dissolve that marriage, right? So, All right, where we at? We got Nick with a super chat. says, did you see we lost our tight end coach to a college team to be their OC? For me, it's a must win for 2 reasons. Prove you can compete for 2 in a row. Beat a Super Bowl contender who have we really beat. Okay, Nick, first of all, appreciate the super chat. 2, yes, I saw that. I know I was going to talk about it yesterday. I don't know if he's leaving. I think he's on the way to after the season, but I did see that. So that's another position that we're going to have to fill when the season is over. Okay, we got a super chat. Stafford was a part of SOL. William with the $2 super chat. 100%. 100%. And again, this is just my passion. This is my passion. This is how I feel about my fandom. When it comes to Stafford, I just can't. The LA Rams, the Detroit Rams thing, that was it. I'm like, it ain't no way, bro. If it was that easy to be a fan, to combine a player with your team because your franchise is so bad, you can't. No. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Being a fan of the Detroit Lions does not work if you root for the Detroit Rams. The Detroit Rams are not the Detroit Lions. I just can't. I cannot, bro. Where we at with we got another super chat. Nick says, it's killing me. People saying it's okay to lose this game. No, it's not. We haven't beat any really good teams. Nick, I don't know who's saying that. Stop talking to them. If you talking to them right now, just stop. Unless they family members, just be like, you know what? I'm not talking to you anymore about this because you sound ridiculous. Just like it wasn't okay for us to lose the the Kansas City game. It wasn't okay. It wasn't okay. Let me see. I've always said the Rams Super Bowl, they win, didn't do anything but added Odell Beckham for real. Anybody was already there like Higbee, Cup. They also added Von Miller, who was pretty decent at the time. They had one of the best, if not the best, defensive tackle in the game. The team was set up to win. Kind of like I was saying to Bradley Mathias, yo, we got that team. Go get an edge rusher, bruh. Go get an edge rusher. And we right there. And now what's going on? Now we're having that regression year. That's where we at. I mean, look, this is not going to stop until this man retires. It's not. It's not going to stop. I will say this, though. I saw Stafford and his irritation after they lost that playoff game. I heard the shade. I did a video about it on Lion Syndicate, all right, when they lost to Detroit. Right now, my only solace outside of the draft capital we got, okay, is the fact that I lost my thought because something is going on in my house. Is that the Lions under Jared Goff against Matthew Stafford are 2-1. They have a chance to be 3-1. Stafford, of course, got the Super Bowl. That's the ultimate goal. But right now, Goff has the lead in the head-to-head, which I will take that. Let me see. Bro, the Bucs are 7-6. Dallas is 6-1. Those are not really good teams. No, to me, a really good team has to be, I mean, would you consider us a really good team? Are we a really good team? I would say we can be a really good. I would say we're a good team. If we beat the Rams, I say we're a really good team. So if you're average, that's literally not really good. You know what I'm saying? A B grade is good. A C is that's average, right? A D, you're failing. So we had regression season already, and we're still regressing. Danny, absolutely. Ravens can you show that video, Derek, of Stafford cannot focus at all? Sergey, I'm not sure what video you're talking about, if it's the Rich Eisen. Let me see. We can't argue Goff has 2 playoff wins in Detroit. That's 100%. And thanks for the super chat. That's 100%. It's not, listen, it's not even Stafford. It's just this fan base, man. It's this fan base. You know how easy it would be for me to be like, well, the Detroit Lions season is over. I guess I'll just go root for the San Francisco 49ers now. I mean, we're not going to win anything this year. You know how easy that is? You know how easy it is? Just like it was easy for Matthew Stafford to go to a new team that was built and ready to win. He just so happened to be the quarterback. Come on, dog. Tart drops the INT. Blown coverage from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everything went perfect. It really was. And also, he didn't go against Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. He went against Zach Taylor, bruh. and a team that had no defense in the Cincinnati Bengals. None. They still don't have no defense, and they had no O-line. That was the year they took Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. And you can argue Jamar Chase let him get there. I mean, come on, dog. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. That's what I don't understand. If it was that easy, you think it's easy being a Lions fan? No, it's easy rooting for a guy who left and went to a stacked team. That's what's easy. What's hard is this. That's easy, bro. It's crazy, bro. You know what's hard? Fighting for a marriage. That's what's hard. Fighting for your marriage to work. Marriage is hard. It's hard. It's not always, but it's hard. Relationships are hard. That's what's fighting for them. You don't just get married and everything is, peaches and rainbows and bubble gum. You have to make it work. You have good times, bad times, but you got to fight, bruh. You got to fight, keep out the temptation, all of that. Come on, man. It's easy to not fight. It's easy to give up. That's what this is to me. He gave up on his team. Why would you follow him to another city? He told you he wanted to be traded. That is the equivalent of your wife saying, I'm done with you. I don't want to be here anymore. And you going to follow her too? Come on, dog. Come on, man. It's crazy. We beat the Bears, Tampa. We beat the Bears, Commander, Tampa. We are great. Okay, Duncan, that's cap. The great part is cap. You can't be serious. The Bears were 0-1. The Commanders were 3-6. Tampa Bay was 1-5-1. You can't be serious, bro. We're good. We're good. Okay. We're on the verge of really good, and we can be great if Brad gets the edge rusher. And now we need an offensive line. I don't understand. You make it hard on yourself if you think about it like that way. At the end of the day, it's a glorified children's game, and it makes you mad. Then another man roots for another man's team after we're out. I don't know. Yeah, Murphy, it does. Because are you a fan of the Detroit Lions or you are a fan of Detroit? Do you have multiple teams? If you're a fan of multiple teams, then okay. Then your loyalty is also divided, right? And that goes to anybody. Anybody that's a fan of multiple teams, you have divided loyalties. That's it. That's literally how it works. What if those two teams play each other? You got to pick one. So, I mean, of course, but again, this is my opinion. I'm expressing myself about how I fan and how I view fans that do this. Doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. That's just my opinion. What I remember is a few missed calls against the Rams in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. Bengals got screwed, in my opinion. Josh, yes, they did. Plus, they didn't have a defense. We started at 1-4. Let me see. We started at 4-1. Then did this very other game thing. Now we're 8-5. Okay, Duncan, what? I'm trying to keep up with you. You get called a non-fan if you criticize Brad. Yeah, bro. Yeah. But you know what? You know what's funny? How we won, and now this is a real test. As a matter of fact, how long we been on? Because it's time to get into I had to get that off my chest. And as you can see, I've had a lot of stuff to say. I mean, year one, it was one way, but year 5 now, we're in year 5 of this. Why is this still a thing? Why is this still a thing, bro? He don't play for your team. Our goal is to beat. Yo, I'm going to tell you something. And then we'll move on. Okay, so let's go back to 2023. I could not believe this. This is just I'm going to paint the picture for you, and I need to know how you really feel. Put in the comment section how you really feel, right? Let me paint this picture. You had a guy that was here for 12 years, never won a playoff game, never hosted one at Ford Field, okay? Now, was it all his fault? No, but he was the quarterback. In 2023, the Lions do something they've never done. They've won the NFC North for the first time ever. Again, something Stafford didn't do, right? Let's go back to 2 times that I remember against the Green Bay Packers. And you lost to Matt Flynn and you lost to Aaron Rodgers. You had 2 opportunities to get it. You didn't. All right? Now, 2023, the Detroit Lions win the NFC North. They're hosting their first ever playoff game at Ford Field. And this fan base, there's a discussion about should we cheer for Matthew Stafford? Should we wear his jersey? This is a conversation that we're having when your team is hosting its first ever playoff game at Ford Field, and we're having a conversation about the dumbest thing ever. Why is this a conversation? He's gone. He is your opposition. There's no choice. There's no question about what you should do, right? But the greatest thing of this whole situation was that is where the Jared Goff chant originated. It was organic, it was natural, and it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This whole debate, and it was also great that I saw one Stafford jersey. One. As much as we fought about it leading up, we're calling radio stations, they're talking about it on mainstream media, local media. As much as we debated about what we should do, when it was all said and done, I saw one Stafford jersey, and it was a Rams jersey. I'm sure there were others out there in 60,000 people. I saw one, bruh, and it was the greatest thing. And when the Jared Goff chant came out of nowhere, and then we won this game, and then I see Jared Goff tearing up, it was a moment that said, yo, we do understand what this is. We do understand what we should be doing. And that's supporting the guy that's here, the guy that had no choice to be here, right? That's what we should be doing. And we did. And then we got these stupid conversations. Why is this still a thing? Okay, all right. Let's move on because I got to get off in an hour because we got the follow-up appointment. This whole thing to me, man, it was the greatest moment seeing the fan base who had fought all week actually come together and do the right thing. And no, we didn't boo kids. No, we didn't do that. She just be making stuff up. Kelly she be capping, bro. Kelly Stafford be capping. She need they need to do the stop the cap with her as the face. All right, Dan Campbell, front of the media. Let's see what we got.
Shane Zylstra came back to practice last week, then missed the next two estimation days. I'm just curious, did he have a setback, or is it still a situation where you hope to get him back?
No, that was normal. What we were doing, that's what we wanted to do last week. So he didn't miss any time. He was, it was kind of how we had it planned. So he was out there, walked through. We're going to have him out at practice today, and there again, would love to have him at the game, barring no setback. We'll see where he goes here.
What's the plan to still get Christian rolling back into practice, and what's the likelihood that he could still help you this year?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to work him into practice. This will start working him in. And yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful that we will be able to get him at some point here this season.
Muhammad was Defensive Player of the Week this week. He had the 3 sacks. Looked like you guys used him a little bit more on the edge for some of those. He was getting some of his production inside early on. Was that a game plan specific thing? Is there something about, what he can do for you out there that you want to get him rushing more?
Yeah, I mean, it's just putting our best rushers out there.
Wait a minute. Man. Wow. Okay, so he's asked about Al-Qadim Muhammad, and he was called. Wow. Okay. So is that conceding defeat on M.A. Davenport?
He's one of those guys, and so we felt like getting him on the edge opposite of Hutch on some stuff. He had some early production too, so you're just going to keep going back to the well there. But he did a great job. He does a good job for us no matter what. I mean, he's playing special teams for us too now. He's running on kickoffs, and I mean, he does anything you ask him to do, and he cares about it, and he works at it, and whatever you need, he'll do. So, proud of him, man. He helped us win that game the other day.
What have you thought about Davenport's performance since he's been back? I'm sure.
Yo, wait a minute. And this is Justin Rogers, and I don't really care for Justin, man. But I'm okay. All right, Just. Let me see are you Just Blaze? Is that what this is?
Sure, there was probably at least a little rust he needed to knock off.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I would say that's probably the best way to say it is just getting his legs back under him here a little bit. The good news is that every week we've gotten a few more reps on him. He's getting some really good reps. Practice, he looks really good in practice. He's very disruptive, and so he's only going to get better from what he's had the last couple of weeks, the last 3 weeks of practice, or a few days that we've had. So this will be good for him.
All right, let me translate what Dan Campbell said. He said, I've already said all of this stuff. He looks good and all of that. He got 4 games. Let's see what he can do.
I'm glad we got him back.
With Miles, does it speak to anything about him and how quickly he's, kind of catching on, the fact that he just returned to practice about a month ago and you already feel comfortable putting him into games? And they kind of did the same thing with Christian last year, but is that still a little bit unusual for him to?
I think it's unusual. I think it's not always easy to do. Especially it's hard, especially when you're in the boat that they're in. When you don't get any training camp and you've only gotten limited practices, I mean, that's not it's not easy to do. But it's where we're at. We need to get a look and we need a little help, and so let's throw him out there. And he got some valuable experience, and he's going to learn and grow from it. He'll be better because of it. So that's a good thing.
Given the situation that you have at tight end, what kind of lift does Jameer give in the passing game, and just being able to line him up in different positions, including the slot?
He's an asset. He's a weapon for us. We've said that all along. I mean, this guy serves many roles, and he gives us a lot of flexibility. With what we can do. So, I've said this before, the more that we ask him to do, the better he gets and the more he can do, but he allows us to do a lot. So, he's a good player. He's a good player, and he's only getting better.
Last week, you played an opponent, had maybe a rare situation where they had 2 elite receivers you had to shut down. Mm-hmm. Another one this week with Adams and Nakua. I'm just curious, what did you take away from last week's performance that can apply to this, or is there nothing because they're so different stylistically?
Well, I think they're a little different just in style of play. Overall, yet Pickens is a physical receiver. He's big, he's long, and so's Nakua. He's a big guy, and Nakua, you can't. I got a lot of respect for him. Just particularly over the last 2 years since we played him. When you get to see the guy up close and go against him, you realize how big and strong he is. He's got good range. He's faster than I think people realize. I mean, he runs well, and then he blocks, he gets after it. So you got to fight this guy all the way to the catch point. And so what you learned from last week is really what we did. I thought we fought on the perimeter. I thought Rock and Amik and those guys really fought, man. Reed, particularly against 3. You had to, and we're going to have to do that again against 12. He's a really good player, man. He's stout, he's strong. And then obviously Adams is, man, he's kind of slithery, he's smooth. And you got to be careful on the double moves. He does a real good job with his stems and dropping his weight. And so there's he's pretty elegant with his routes, man. And you got to be careful because he'll make you bite on something and then he's gone the other way. So they are different in that regard, but they're both very dangerous receivers.
With the tight end room being revamped, what do you like so far about having Ferkser, Rucci, and Ricci on the roster?
Well, the Rucci and Ritchie brothers just got here, so I don't know a ton, but just for the short period of time here, they're good, and we'll see where we can go with them, Obviously, Ferk, I got a lot of trust in. Ferk was here before. I know what he is. We know what he is. He's a smart guy. He's pretty crafty, savvy in the pass game. Can do a lot of different jobs, and so can Zylstra, right? So we know what those guys kind of deliver, and then, Skip is our kind of de facto tight end, too, that we use. So we'll see where the other 2 guys, where they can go or where they can help and how they can grow, but got a lot of trust in Ferk and Shane.
Sorry, Dan. Hutch said last week that you guys took the reins off the D-line a bit just to create more and to rush with more of a pass-first mentality, even when it might be a run. Just how much credit goes to your linebackers, maybe Jack in particular, for allowing you guys to rush more aggressively and to put out fires against the run if they need to?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot said. We put an enormous amount of strain on those three guys. On Jack particular there in the middle, but Alex as well, and then even Barnes. So, but those guys do. We asked them to do a lot, and they do a million jobs for us. And it was really, it was a good job by Shep. It was a good job by Casey too, our D-line coach. That was a lot of that was, hey man, this is what we need to do against this opponent. This is how we can help ourselves, depending on what the play is or the situation is. But there's no doubt, if you don't have the backers we have, you can't do that because you'll be in trouble. You'll get gutted for a lot of runs, a lot of yards inside, which we were able to minimize, especially in a light box.
Linebackers, when you look at Jack in particular, you're starting to see things, first linebacker since Chris Spielman to do this or whatever. Just overall, Dan, how valuable is Jack in what you do from a game preparation standpoint, and then obviously what he means to you in the middle of that defense on Sunday?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can put it into words. He's extremely valuable. Right now, first of all, he leads the team in amount of reps that he's played for a season. He's taken more reps than anybody on this team. He plays on kickoff for us, and he's an asset on kickoff, and then everything you see on defense. He doesn't come off the field. He's our bell cow, green dot, and he does. And the guy he's smart and he's instinctive, and he is snap the whistle all out all the time in practice too. He doesn't take plays off. He doesn't take days off. He goes after the football. He's a ball guy, so he's invaluable.
You talk a lot about your coaching influences in your past. What do you see about the way that Brad brought things from L.A. and that Rams organization that's helped you build here? And are there any similarities in the organizations that you see mirrored because of his upbringing within that organization?
Well, I think you're always going to take bits and pieces of where you kind of learned and grew under and those thoughts. And I just think, they've always done a good job of drafting. They draft football players. They find guys and they go get their guys. And I think that's a lot of what we do here too, And yeah, I think that would be a better question for Brad. But certainly there's you can't argue with what they've done with the players they've drafted. They've got some really good players in all rounds and free agency like we have. So, and that's kind of the tree he's from. So certainly you're going to have a little influence from it.
Those really good players he drafted was Verse. I just want to get your impressions on what sort of game wrecker he is. And when Verse was sliding a little bit in that draft, he was getting kind of close to where you guys were. Did you think you might be able to get him at some point?
We like Verse. He's a good player. He's a really good player, and he's grown so much in a year. I mean, this guy is he's a violent player, and he can wreck a game. This guy sets violent edges in the run game, and then he gets an edge, it's over. Those guys collectively do a good job running stunts and pick games, things like that. He's really grown, but yeah, we liked him. We liked him.
Dan, back to Jack real fast. He seems like kind of a throwback off-ball linebacker. Does he remind you of anyone that you played with or against during your playing days?
Man, it's a good question. Look, there's, I wouldn't say, played with, but some of these guys, when you see, just being at New Orleans as a coach for that period of time and watching Kuechly out there, now Kuechly for a linebacker had rare speed. But as far as all the other stuff, man, there's a lot of similarities. Freaking smart, man. He knows what's coming before it's there. High energy, never gets tired. Freaking runs all the way down the field, runs back to the huddle, gets everybody lined up. He's constantly barking out communication, going after the football. You may get him once, you're not going to get him twice. So there's those things that just, they show up. They show up.
Curious, really quickly, Brian Branch. Has he undergone surgery? Does swelling have to go down before that happens? And when do you think maybe you'll have an early sense of how long the recovery is for this, given the maybe advancements of Achilles recovery?
He's had it repaired, and it sounds like everything went well. So, they're always going to give you the 8 to 12 months or whatever that is from the time of the surgery. But the surgery went well. Everything went well.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. All right. You know what's funny is I was going to make a video about Brian Branch from a couple. I had written it down because I wanted to talk about it, the possibilities. Some possibilities. But Chris had mentioned how Dan just seems, like less energetic. And I would agree. I mean, it's late in the season, but, coming off of all right, so now the coordinators are up there. It's a difficult task to keep that type of energy, all season. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. We got exactly 100 votes. So I'll end the poll there. And you guys can see it in the comment section. So you know what? Let's have one more segment. We got time for one more segment, and then we'll wrap up the show. I want to get you guys feedback. So if you've fallen asleep because of the press conference, and wake up, wake your butt up, right? Wake your butt up. Okay. Thankfully, the podiatrist is literally about 10 minutes from the house. It is kind of snowing, sleeting right now. I had to go out there and shovel and get a little bit of it up. But all right, so let's have a segment something I wanted to talk about for a minute. So I made a video last week about the future of Brian Branch in Detroit, and it got a lot of pushback. You guys weren't happy about it. I saw some comments about, it being clickbait and all of this other stuff. And I think it's a legitimate conversation. And we just found out from Dan Campbell that Brian Branch has had surgery to repair the Achilles injury that he received just a week ago, not even a week ago. And the question was asked about a possible, has he had surgery? The answer was yes. Yes. What could be the timeline? And at first I thought Dan was going to avoid it, but he gave a generic statement, which is what we looked up last week, between 8 to 12 months. So here is the take that I wanted to put out there. And I was going to do an overreaction segment, but I lost time. I haven't done one on Lion Syndicate, so I'll kind of do an overreaction topic here. And that way, you guys, if you push back in the comment section, give me some leeway at least. But I think it's a legit conversation. Is it an overreaction to say that Brian Branch has played his last game as a Detroit Lion? I'm going to let you sit on that for a minute. Is it an overreaction to say that Brian Branch has played his last game as a Detroit Lion? Is it an overreaction? I don't think it's an overreaction just because of the injury. I don't think it's an overreaction. Do I think that that's going to happen? I don't, because if he comes back in eight months from now, he's ready for preseason and he'll play, get his legs under him. 12 months from now, he's ready for the last home stretch of the season, right? Let's say it takes 12 months for his 21-day window to even open. Best case scenario, he's back for the playoffs. So is it an overreaction? It's not a real overreaction. It depends on the recovery. Because if he's out for 12 months, that literally puts him into December. Now you have to say, okay, well, maybe his 21-day window opens in late November or the middle of November or whatever the situation. But is it an overreaction? I don't think it is. What I do think is going to happen is whether or not he plays in 2024 or not, because it's a real possibility, who knows? I mean, I'm not trying to wish any evil or complications on the guy, but there could be. We saw what happened to a certain quarterback in Cleveland, right? So complications could happen. Things could go wrong. It could be some cleanup surgery. Something needs to. So you've got all those kind of intangible things that could happen. But even if he didn't play in 2026, I think Brad is going to re-sign him. Because what Brad has done is if you have lost out on something to injury, it seems like he's going to bring you back. He's going to give you at least one opportunity. We saw it with Davenport. We saw it with Mosley. We've seen it with a ton of folks, a ton of people that Brad has brought in. We saw it with Levi. Levi was another example, right, of a guy that has battled injuries. And I fully expect it to be the same with Josh Paschal and the same with Brian Branch. So I don't think, but I mean, now if this injury would have happened in preseason or September, then it would be different. But if he takes the full 12 months to recover, I mean, it could be possible. I don't think that's going to be the case. But I also don't think it's an overreaction to say that he played the last game. Okay, so Duncan says, I sure hope not. Look at Hutchinson injured last year and written off. Brian needs 3 months, man, minimum. Now I think he needs a little bit more than that. There's no way people think he will be gone. I don't know. It's not just you. Brian Branch more than likely will not be back. I always take notes at the doctor office. Let me see. Brad won't get rid of Branch. We kept Martin, Levi, Davenport, Josh Hooker, and a host of other injured non-productive players. Branch will be a discounted contract. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how I think that things are going to go. That's why I said, would it be an overreaction? I don't think it's an overreaction, but I also don't think that he's going to be gone because of how Brad does things. Branch has been healthy literally up until this point. He's not injury prone. Yes, he is not injury prone. I don't know who said that he was, but he's not injury prone. Do you realize money is a big factor in a lot of stuff? Shift, yes. That's why it probably will have to be a team-friendly deal. Like, and I'm thinking, okay, so you sign Brent. Let's say, best case scenario, he's back for preseason, right? Training camp. Right now, 8 months from now is literally August, right? So he's back for the preseason. That is best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he misses the whole year. In between, let's give him November. Let's say in between is Aleem McNeil time frame. Like, he comes back whenever Aleem McNeil came back, because they almost got hurt at the same time. And Aleem was a knee situation, right? So let's give him November-ish, all right? He finishes the season. What contract would you give Brian Branch heading into 2027? What do you think would be a fair contract? How many years? How much money? How much guaranteed? They should flex okay, let me see. Schiff says, true, Derek, I think he will get his payday elsewhere. Let me see. I think he's earned a contract as well. So Cordell believes that in 2.5 years, Brian Branch has earned a contract. Okay, so what would you guys give him? Schiff disagrees and says, no, he hasn't. So here's where I'm at. Brad Holmes has to make a lot of decisions next year. Now, thankfully, Brian Branch, well, not thankfully. Brian Branch was a decision that he had to make. Now, he doesn't. And unlike Aiden Hutchinson, if Brian Branch is not ready to start the season, we probably won't see an extension. But if he heals great and he plays, he's ready to go in August, then we can see the same type of situation that we saw with Aiden Hutchinson, where he got hurt. He was able to start the season. He put in the work. Brad signs him, right? Extends him. We could see something like that. My thing is if he can't go. But now, does this mean that Jahmyr Gibbs is priority number one? We've already discussed that. Then you have the Jack Campbell deal that has to get done. Then, to me, you got to make a decision between Sam Laporta and Brian Branch. And with the injury to both of them, you don't know. To me, it might be a situation where whoever's kind of first, it might be a race to whoever can perform, because if you want to lock up Sam before his contract, expires, and then you let kind of Brian Branch show what he can do before you extend him. And, somebody mentioned, like, people are not the same after Achilles injuries. That's what they mentioned. And, I know I had mentioned I had compared him to Emmanuel Mosley, and everybody was like, it's an ACL. And okay, he was injured. It was a season-ending injury involving the leg. All right, so he still had to come back. Those injuries you're done for the season. It takes you 6 to 12 months to recover from those type of injuries. Aleem McNeil, it took him about 11 months to get back. From the injury to coming back, it took about 11 months, 10.5 to 11 months. So if we do that for Brian Branch, and we say 10.5 to 11 months, we're looking right at Aleem McNeil time. So I don't think he's played his last game, but what happens after this? Do you think, let me ask you this, and I'll leave this up to the comment section. Do you think that with all the contracts that the Detroit Lions need to do, the fact that we have 38 players under contract, I think it's 38, that we only have 5 under contract for the D-line, do you think that Brad should make Brian Branch a priority? Meaning, do you think he should do it or just wait? Because I think this injury it really changes things from a contractual standpoint, because there are other things that need to be done. And unfortunately, you need to see how Brian Branch is going to return. And if he can't get back until mid to late November, is his first 2 years, 2.5, and the last 6 weeks of his last year, is that enough for Brian to earn an extension with everything else you have to do? And if so, how much are you willing to give him? So do I think he's played his last game? If everything goes well with this injury recovery, then no, I don't. But is it overreaction? I don't think it is, because you never know what complications could happen. You don't know if he's going to return in a year. He could be back in 8 months. He could be back at 12. Look at what happened to Levi. We thought he was good to go and he wasn't. So I don't think it's an overreaction, but I also don't think it's going to go that way. All right, because of cap space next year, I'll wait, says B. If it's Laporta or Branch for an extension, I'm going Laporta right now, says bring the heat. Keep saying Laporta will be the odd man out. It may just be Branch. Yeah, you know what? But now they're both hurt. So it's like, okay, well, who do you invest in? Which one of these guys do you invest in? Neither one of them could be the same. You got Laporta, man, the back, that's tough, bro, because now, I don't know about y'all, but me being 46, I can't sleep wrong. I can't get out the car wrong. I can barely sneeze. I mean, have you ever sneezed and your back, like you can sneeze and blow your back out? So it's like the back, bro, that is a real kind of fragile, risky thing, and you never know if they're going to recover. Let me see. Schiff says his behavior and everything has affected it. I was starting to kind of worry about that. The NFL made an example of him. I would invest in Branch, defense over offense, or Laporta. Hey. Hey, Louve says pause. Was I supposed to say throw your back out? That's probably what I was supposed to say. Oh, man. Can Brad franchise tag one of them, and would that be a good idea? Lito, you know what? I wish I would have thought about that during my segment, because that's exactly what they could do. 100%. They could sign one and franchise tag the other. The Lions historically do not use the franchise tag. They don't. But they have 10 years ago. 11 years ago, the last time we tagged the guy was Ziggy Ansah. All right, so I got to go. We'll be on tomorrow. Thank you for listening to me and my Stafford situation. However you feel is how you feel. Look, this is one of them things. I was like, all right, so this, I don't know how many of y'all got exes out there, ex-wife, ex-husband, whatever the situation, and how many of y'all got to deal with them on a regular basis. But after a while, things can work, right? You can be on the same page, especially if you share a child together. You got to raise that child and co-parent. You got to get on the same page if it makes everybody's life easier, right? So this for me is like, but with your ex, you don't really talk about what went wrong, right? You don't really, well, you know what, you don't really have those conversations. You can, but you just move on. But if those conversations were to somehow find their way into discussion, then that, some feelings might come up. Some old feelings might come up. That's for me what it is with Stafford. I'm just ready for this to be over. This whole thing. It's like, it's done. It's over. He spent 12 years here. It's great. Sayonara. Hasta la vista. Whatever the situation, whatever you want to say. But for me, it's over and done. It's over and done. I would never cheer. I would never root. But I can't tell you how to fan what's right and wrong. I can only tell you how I see things. And that is, I just don't understand how that's not what being a fan is. Being a fan is not picking and choosing when you want to support somebody. You either rock with the Lions or you don't, but you don't go and pick another team, or it would have been tough. Like, I'll give you an example. If Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson, there was a rumor that he wanted to be traded to the Patriots. I wouldn't blame him. They were still winning everything in the mid 2010s. I wouldn't blame him. It would be tough. I'd be like, dang, Calvin. I would be like, yo, seeing him with the Patriots, bro, it'd be like Randy Moss all over again. But I'm not going to buy me a Patriot shirt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. If you played in the Super Bowl, I'll be like, all right, Calvin, I see you, bro. But you're not going to get a yay, Calvin. That's not how I'm going to roll, right? Barry Sanders. I watched Bye Bye Barry, and this is what I got from it. I don't know what you got from it, but Barry Sanders never came out and said why he retired. And I was watching the whole show like, is he going to say it? Is he going to say it? Is he going to say it? It's been a mystery. The dude just retired via fax, and he just disappeared, right? Matter of fact, they couldn't even contact him when he retired. What I got from Bye Bye Barry, and this is just what I got, that Barry Sanders, he didn't want to play anywhere else. He didn't want to play. If it wasn't in Detroit, he didn't want to play. That's what I got from it. And I can respect that, man. I can respect that. I can. So, but thankfully, I didn't have to deal with that with Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson. It's just this doggone Matthew Stafford. Just that's it. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like this. Maybe that's what it would have been if Barry Sanders or Calvin. Barry was like pre-social media. So, I mean, he retired via fax. Look, you would know, we would know before he knew. If Barry Sanders retired right now, bro, it'd be like, yo, soon as he said, it'd be like sources, Barry Sanders retired, right? So things were different, man. But for me, that's just how I am. It's my team, bro. That's it. Ride or die, complain, cry, whatever the situation, bro. I can't be hopping over and wishing other players. Look, I wish you well. I wish you health. You know, I'm not going to say I wish you success. Like, I'm not going to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't wish that you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's just, okay, it's over. It's over with, man. Be healthy. Be well. Enjoy your life. But I'm not going to be like, cheer, cheer, cheer. That's not going to happen. Anyway, I got to go, man. I got to go. I had some things I need to get off my chest, apparently. 4.5 years later, which is insane. Like, literally next year's, no, not 5 years later. It's been 5 years and we're still doing this. We're still doing it. For what? Why? Why is this a thing? Oh, anyway, enjoy the rest of the day, man. Oh, I didn't even get to show y'all this. That's all right. Watch the video later.
And I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the motor city, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the motor city, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.